Hello, how's it going? Welcome back to some more F1 Manager 2022 and another part of our Aston Martin Road to Glory career mode. We are in the midst of Season 2, starting to look slightly towards Season 3, which I think will be an almost impossible challenge of trying to replicate the success of this season. As far as I know, the game works in the fact that your board will set you a target of matching the last season at the very least. So we could be in a lot of trouble if they want us to win the championship again next year, if you like. That is going to be incredibly difficult. With that in mind, you know, we need to start thinking about next year's car. We have been doing some research. Thank you very much for all of the incredible comments, the incredible support on the series so far. If we could hit 120 likes on this video, that would be absolutely amazing. I'm not sure we can do it, but let's hope we can. So if you get a second, make sure you hit the like button down below. And let's try and end this Season 2 with an absolute bang. We've got 7 races to go, I believe. We've got Singapore. No, it's 6 races to go, of course. Yeah, of course it is. It's Singapore in real life next weekend. So, yeah, we've got 7 races. I could have just looked at that. I'm an idiot. 6 races to go in this season. We are, of course, around about 130 points ahead in the constructors' standings. But in the drivers, Carlos Sainz catching up a little bit, certainly to second-placed Pierre Gasly. Last Grand Prix, Fernando Alonso was phenomenal. It was a really good race from him. Pierre Gasly's pace not quite there in terms of being able to compete with the likes of Sainz and Leclerc. Of course, Verstappen was very, very close behind as well. But, you know, we definitely have a top 6 car at the moment. And on our day and on certain strategies, I think we certainly can win races between now and the end of the season. But I think it's going to be tough. 6 races left, 150 points on the table. This championship is certainly not over. And, you know, it only takes a couple of poor showings from us, and all of a sudden they're well back into it. But Fernando Alonso currently leading the way by 25 points over Pierre Gasly, who is himself 32 points ahead of Carlos Sainz. So Carlos Sainz is, you know, 57 points behind in the championship. He'd need Fernando Alonso to DNF 2 races and him to win 2 races to be on top. But stay with me for a minute, because if Alonso, you know, finishes 3rd in every race from now until the end of the year, and Carlos Sainz was to win all of those races, all of a sudden Carlos Sainz wins the championship by 3 points. So, you know, we got to be a little bit careful here, and I don't think we're going to finish every race in 3rd or above. So that's the only reason I say the championship isn't over. And perhaps it'll get to the point where we'll have to prioritise whichever driver's in the lead, and at the moment that's looking like Fernando Alonso. So let's have a look at our drivers. Development point wise, you can see Pierre Gasly needs another one on his defending. Somehow he still hasn't went up to an 86 rated driver. I think that is rather ridiculous. Fernando Alonso, we're going to go for his braking. Oscar Piastri, of course, we're trying to up his smoothness and get him into the 80s very, very shortly, hopefully. Any development points for our staff? No. We do have about 20 million in the bank. It's not an absolute boatload of money, so I don't want to go over the top. But yeah, let's keep going with things. Do we have a new part to put on the car? I can't quite remember what happened with that. We are manufacturing another suspension. Our underfloor is fine, as is our rear wing, and chassis is as well. So all of our upgrades are on the car. But this is exactly what I mean. We don't have the best car out there. And I think we'll be found out a little bit this weekend, pardon me, because I think, in theory, we should be finishing no higher than 7th, really, with the state of our car. But as we've seen, crazy things happen, and I'm sure that'll be the case this season. So anyway, let's get ourselves into the action. The regulation, by the way, if you didn't stick around at the end of the last episode, then why not? But equally, the new regulation was passed where the top 4 teams are going to get more money. Everybody from 5th to 9th are going to get less money. And the only people staying the same are the people in 10th. So I don't really see how we see that as being the way to level the sport. But hey, it is the way it goes. That is for the 2024 season. So it won't actually affect us this year. So we voted against it, but plenty of teams did vote for it, including Aston and Alfa Romeo, which I'm baffled by. I sort of get it with Alpine. I think they can see themselves as a top 4 team. Red Bull, for instance, voted against it, and we certainly did as well. But let's continue on. Suspension simulator has been made, and our manufacturing is complete for the suspension, which is great. So the suspension simulator is at a better level now. Of course, it's going to up the monthly upkeep. But we have a little break here, really. Research is complete on the underfloor. So let's research another new part. I mean, I think the underfloor is going to be an incredibly important part of the car. So let's throw a lot of manpower behind this. And we're going to focus a lot on the low speed. A little bit less on that. You can see it's still very much a positive impact overall. And yeah, that looks pretty good to me. We'll stick those guys on it, and that should be done by December, which is nice. Okay, let's continue on then. Suspension is complete as well. And I've just made a massive mistake by throwing everything. I'm an idiot. But we will do some extra research. We might as well do some extra suspension research. You can see it will improve it slightly, even though we've got no manpower on it, particularly. But it will improve it, which is good. Okay. Right, let's continue on then to the race weekend. Board confidence check in there, of course, very, very happy with us. I'll be interested to see, actually, what was their confidence of Zandvoort. They were pretty happy with that. I'm impressed, because we started at the back, of course. But yeah, okay. Right, performance targets then. Let's pop ourselves both drivers into Q3. Confirm. Both drivers there. Confirm. A few people have pointed out in the past I've been clicking cancel changes and go back. So I am trying to make sure I press confirm instead. Let's get ourselves into the Singapore Grand Prix, the site of our first ever podium last season.
We're here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit and the Singapore Grand Prix is just about to start. The name Singapore means City of Lions, and this weekend Formula One will be roaring into action. The bumpy street surfaces here make this a challenging circuit for the drivers, and the humidity causes them to lose as much as 3 kilos over the course of a race. But it's also tough on the cars, with 23 corners to tackle each and every lap. Good low-speed downforce will make all the difference here. With the season nearly concluded, time is running out for the teams. Can anyone make a last-minute breakthrough? Can the leading drivers hold on? Only time will tell. Stay right here, because we're just getting started.
Right then, we are ready and raring to go. Look at that. Clear skies for Saturday and Sunday. Looking forward to that. Let's get on with a practice as we always do, and I'll see you guys ready for qualifying. Well, at the end of practice, you can see we've got the confidence pretty high for both drivers, 97% and 90%. It's tricky to set up the car around Singapore, but yeah, we'll see how we get on. Let's get into qualifying. Generally, our times have been pretty good, but nothing spectacular. Sort of top 8, which is where I think our car is at the moment. I think I said at the start of the episode, I don't see us getting any higher than 7th today, but I'm willing to be proved wrong. Really, really willing to be wrong about that, and hopefully I am, and hopefully we will go on and sort of qualify top 5. That would be fantastic. Now, Alonso's ERS systems, he's got plenty of good systems in there, and gearboxes as well, so Alonso in a pretty good place. Let's simulate Q1 and see how we get on in that. And well, there you go, 3rd and 5th, which is by far our best position of the weekend so far, but it is incredibly close. 7/10 separating the top 9, 8/10 separating the top 10. Lando Norris and Kevin Magnussen not far behind that as well, so it is all going to be about getting your lap time in and making sure that you're in a strong position. So let's see how we get on in Q2. Let's get into the action. Here we go.
Radio check.
Copy.
Okay, it's green now.
I'm actually going to wait a little bit because I think traffic will be a massive issue here. I'm going to go for when the traffic is expected to be at its lowest, which I think it'll be after this peak time here, so about 7 minutes through. And we'll head out there, get onto our outlap. And who do we want to go first this weekend? I think probably Alonso, and then it's going to be a bit behind that. So I think we want to get out there now. Try and get Gasly out there into a gap. Yeah, that looks good. So they should both be able to get a decent time in here. Obviously a very long lap here at Singapore, so you've got to be careful because you certainly don't want to be a team that gets caught out by not reaching the line. And that could happen. But, I mean, the big surprise is Esteban Ocon quickest at the moment.
Rears are hot. Okay.
Here we go with Fernando Alonso. Oh, we're on board. I was on board with Gasly. I was a bit confused there as to what was going on, but Alonso seems to be past the worst of the traffic. I think Gasly may well. Oh no! That Red Bull's right in the way now.
Okay.
And this is the issue around here. Get out of the way, for goodness sake! Wow, that was awful. I think Gasly's probably just as shafted. Equal in the first sector. What about the middle sector for Gasly? He's going to be coming through that now, 37.4, so, well, there you go, 9/10 quicker. Here comes Fernando Alonso up to the line, and that is only 12th as it stands, and he is a lot better than that. So here we go with Pierre Gasly. He's going to fly around the final corner. And where's he going to go? Comes through and he goes 8th. So Well, not bad at the moment. Let's get them back into the pits. Okay, right. Time to send them out. Apologies about the little cut there. And, well, we'll have Fernando being the last man out, if you like. He should easily make it to the line. But it's going to be very interesting. Who's going to get their lap times in? Who's not? Bottas currently quickest ahead of Ocon. Then Perez third, Norris fourth, Magnussen is fifth, with Vettel sixth, and then Ricciardo seventh, Gasly eighth. The next, Perez is obviously up there. You'd expect that. The next person you'd expect right up there is Russell, and he's down in ninth. So there's lots of change that's going to happen here. Once we get onto the lap. Kevin Magnussen is going to be the first over the line, so let's just keep an eye on their times, but I do just want to see how the progress of other drivers goes. So Kevin Magnussen, he goes yellow in the first sector. What about Leclerc? He's yellow as well. Ricciardo, yeah, nobody. Hamilton's improving. Who's behind him? Perez. Yeah. Well, it's not perfect. It's not perfect out there. We'll hop on board with Gasly in a little bit. But Kevin Magnussen coming around the final little sector here. He's going green. What's he going to do here? Kevin Magnussen comes up to the line. Does he improve a little bit? What about Charles Leclerc? Where can Charles Leclerc go? He goes top. What about Ricciardo? He comes over the line. He goes 8th. Hamilton, can he get into the top 10? He goes 6th for now. Perez up to the line. Stays 4th. Ocon stays 3rd. Mick Schumacher comes over the line, stays 12th. What about Vettel? 8th. Verstappen, he needs to improve. Verstappen comes over the line. He goes 2nd. What about Russell? Russell comes over the line, he goes 2nd as well. Sainz comes through, he goes 2nd. What about Norris? Norris goes 8th and Bottas 5th. Gasly and Alonso, the last two people that come over the line. Currently 13th and 15th, both yellow. In that first sector, here comes Pierre Gasly then on the brand new tyres. He's flying around the final corner. He comes up to the line. Where does he go? He goes 4th. Excellent lap from Pierre Gasly. He's easily through. That means that Hamilton's the man in trouble. Fernando Alonso comes across the line and he goes 4th. So Hamilton is out in Q2. That is unbelievable, to be honest with you. Lewis Hamilton, a contender for pole position, he is out. But Fernando Alonso and Gasly, very good final laps there. But going out in Q2 then, Lewis Hamilton and Kevin Magnussen. Sebastian Vettel, another surprise with how quick Ocon has been this weekend. Daniel Ricciardo out for McLaren, and Mick Schumacher in the Haas. Quite unbelievable. Right. Let's get into Q3 then. We have got some brand new tyres to utilise, or a brand new tyre. So we'll go for the marginally used tyres first off. And we'll get them out there nice and quickly, I think, to try and get a little lap time in there. It's going to be a pretty tight Q3, so we're going to get Alonso out there now.
Radio check, radio check.
I think I can hear another car coming out
Radio
as
check.
well.
Okay, radio check, okay.
Okay, it's green now.
Let's get Gasly as well. Of course, we're going to leave the soft tyre run, the brand new soft tyre run, until the end. So, what are they going to be able to do? I mean, I was expecting everybody to be out there trying to get a time quickly. Obviously, it's such a massive track, is Singapore. So, should never catch those other guys. But Russell, he's coming out of the pit lane. And Alonso's going to meet him fairly soon. Pierre Gasly, meanwhile, he's in real trouble as Fernando Alonso surely is going to get past George Russell here. No, he's been slowed right down. So that's not good. Don't know about Gasly. Let's have a look at his first sector time. Yeah, Gasly's been ruined as well. There's kind of no point completing that lap for Gasly. As Fernando might have a little bit of value in this lap. Certainly not going to be his fastest, but might as well get the banker in there. So here we go then, Fernando Alonso coming around the final couple of corners. And here he comes up to the line. And it's a 1:36.2. Which puts him top for now. So let's zoom it forward. Obviously Gasly coming into the pits. Obviously puts in a time. He does cross the line, but 15 seconds slower than his teammate. But as you can see, everybody else is quicker. So there was kind of no point in that time for Fernando in the end. But I did think that potentially it would work out. That he would be a little bit quicker than some others out there, but certainly wasn't the case. So, brand new tyres on the car. So people coming out now. Who do we want out there first? I think Fernando's going to go out there first. Let's see, Lewis Hamilton not in this top 10 shootout. That's a big shock in itself, isn't it? So let's see what they can manage here. I think we'll have a similar sort of watch of the times, but from the comfort of Fernando Alonso's car this time. So here we go, Fernando Alonso through the first couple of corners very, very nicely. Perez is leading the way, and Leclerc purple in the first sector. Sainz can't match him. What about Verstappen? Verstappen is just ahead of Fernando Alonso, so let's keep an eye on Max's time. Max only goes green. Fernando Alonso goes green too. What about Pierre Gasly? He's going to be behind this big group. He goes green. So Charles Leclerc quickest in that first sector. If we look at 26.6 plays, a 26.8 for both of our drivers. So 2/10 off. Leclerc goes purple in the middle sector. Nobody able to match Charles as it stands. Here comes Fernando Alonso through that middle sector. What's he going to manage to put in? So it was a 36.4 for Charles Leclerc. It's a 36.6 for Fernando Alonso. He's currently 4/10 off what is going to be pole position. Here comes Gasly. He comes up and it's a 36.648 as well. Identical times through the middle sector for the Aston Martin cars. Here goes Fernando Alonso. He's going to fly around as Charles Leclerc is quickest at the moment. Sainz can't improve. What about Max Verstappen? He's going to be the next one over the line. Russell goes third. Here comes Fernando Alonso. He comes over the line and he goes fourth. He outqualifies Verstappen. Here goes Gasly then round the final corner. Where can he finish? He goes over the line and he goes fifth. So Fernando Alonso qualifies fourth. Pierre Gasly qualifies fifth. And you have to say, got to be very happy with that. Got to be very, very happy with that. Charles Leclerc is on pole position, dominated that. And the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz makes it a Ferrari front row lockout. George Russell qualifies third. It just makes you think, what was the potential of Hamilton? You know, he couldn't get his lap together in Q1, and that is why we're in the position we're in. Max Verstappen didn't hook up his lap particularly well. Neither did Sergio Perez. So Red Bull in a little bit of trouble this Grand Prix, but Ferrari 1 and 2.
The time has come to fight it out. It's race day.
There was some good work from Aston Martin during the qualifying session, and they will go to the grid full of confidence. These past few days, Ferrari have been absolutely thrilling their fans. Now let's see if they can make the Tifosi proud by capitalizing on that grid position. Tonight is a cloudy one and there's a good chance of rain. The teams will have to be flexible with their strategy for the race.
So whose engine will roar loudest today at the Marina Bay Street Circuit? Unpredictable times ahead here at the Singapore Grand Prix.
Okay then, so it is going to be a clear race, of course. Tyre-wise, you know, you look at that and you think, wow, the soft tyres are going to actually last a decent amount of time, but I don't know, maybe we need to go mediums in this Grand Prix. That's what we did last year and it worked incredibly well. If we pull that back a little bit, leave a little bit in the tank for a bit of an attack towards the end of the Grand Prix. So let's try and go 40 laps with Pierre Gasly. Now, Fernando Alonso, I think we'll do the same. He can go lap 39 and then attack those soft tyres towards the end. So that's what we're looking at this Grand Prix. We'll have to look after the medium tyres in this first stint, and then, of course, see what we do towards the end of the race. We'll go overtake at the start, but can't really do a lot with fuel. It's going to be tough on the fuel consumption this race, so it's just going to be a wait and see. So let's get into the race.
It's a cloudy night tonight, but otherwise the weather looks good for the race. Looking at Fernando Alonso here. Not as close to the front as they might have wished for, but we know the race order can change a lot during those first few corners. Next for the team, it's Pierre Gasly. With a top 10 position on the grid, this race could really go either way for them. The teams are ready to go.
Here we go then. We are ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's going to be an exciting one.
We're away from the Singapore Grand Prix.
Lights out. Away we go. Both of the leaders and Russell on soft tyres as we start this Grand Prix. Leclerc goes into turn 1 ahead of Carlos Sainz. George Russell side by side with Carlos Sainz going into turn 2. Can George Russell make the move into turn 3? He goes down the inside and then it's going to be a long run down towards the next corner. He slots in right behind Carlos Sainz, but actually he's going to be defending from Fernando Alonso, who's right in his slipstream, but can't make the move. And Pierre Gasly slots into P5 as well. So not many changes, other than Lewis Hamilton has lost a place at the start here. He was potentially a threat for the win in this Grand Prix if he was able to make a positive start. Same for Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen struggling at the moment. But let's keep an eye on Fernando Alonso. Is he going to be able to get George Russell here? He's got overtake enabled. And George Russell goes over to the inside. And somebody's locked up, and I don't know who it is. It could well be a driver in the wall. I think it's Nico Hülkenberg. Yes, there are multiple cars crashed.
Sounds like there's been
Not entirely sure what's
Let's take a
happened
look
here.
at
I
the
think it
replay.
was Nico
Now we
Hülkenberg.
see the Williams here.
So Hülkenberg locks up. Oh, yep, makes contact
Clearly
with
see
the
contact there,
AlphaTauri
and that
there.
caused a lot of damage.
And that could have been really, really nasty. Luckily, it didn't turn out that way. Fernando Alonso definitely quicker than George Russell at this phase of the Grand Prix, it would seem. But the Ferraris checking out at the front, and they certainly seem to be the quickest guys out there right now. But we're going to have to take it fairly easy in this first stint and hope that at the end of the Grand Prix we get that reward for looking after our tyres, looking after our fuel, and being able to really attack towards the end of the race. So here goes Fernando Alonso with overtake. Not getting anywhere near, so we're going to drop it down to neutral now. And sort of accept that. Just going to have to wait until the DRS becomes active. Verstappen following Gasly, and then Ocon certainly looking race here behind Verstappen. Bottas forming a gap. It seems most people are just dropping into their own little race here. Tsunoda, Schumacher, and then, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Hülkenberg ends up being pretty fast here, just because of the fact he's in clear air. But let's zoom it forward until we get to the DRS zone. It's Charles Leclerc leading the race ahead of Carlos Sainz
DRS is
in second, and now we've got Fernando Alonso. He's going to get his first bout of DRS here. So we're going to go overtake.
Use overtake. Copy.
And this should be a chance really to get past George Russell. DRS very much enabled. Ooh. Is he going to have a chance down the inside here? He's having a little look. Oh, it's side by side here. Russell's now got the inside line, but Alonso squeezes him out.
This is good.
Wow, that was risky from Fernando Alonso, but I love it. That was really, really cool.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
And now the question will be, can Fernando Alonso stay ahead of George Russell? Should be able to. Pierre Gasly is hopefully going to be the next one past. DRS enabled. Yeah, you would imagine Alonso's going to be pretty aggressive in his defence. But we're definitely losing time compared to so driving clean air. That's what somebody has suggested. If you want to get past it using the DRS, make sure you do that. So let's see if we can do it here with Pierre. Yeah, no luck this time. Gasly definitely looking racy at the moment. Meanwhile, we are losing quite a significant amount of time to the Ferraris up ahead, who are having their own little battle. It looks like Leclerc could get back past his teammate here. He's going to swing over to the inside. Yes, he is. This could be a battle and a changeover for the lead. And there you go. With Charles Leclerc, he is through back into the lead of this Grand Prix then.
Stay cool, man, you're doing a good job.
So very good from Charles. Mercedes moved up
and Roel Russell has got past Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, sorry. This is certainly not going to be an easy one for us. As Alonso follows George Russell. He's going to follow him very, very closely through this first section. And hopefully use the DRS to his advantage. So here we go, Fernando Alonso following George Russell. Pierre Gasly behind him. Here goes Fernando Alonso. He's closing in. He's having a little look down the inside. That is very, very close. And Fernando is through. That was an awesome move. That was brilliant from Fernando.
This is good, come on.
Very, very aggressive. Once again, Leclerc
Aston
stays
Martin
in
with
front.
a great play there. They've moved up a place.
I'd love to have a
Here's
look
the
at this.
replay. So this was the Aston Martin.
It was side by side, and well, it was risky. It was definitely risky. So let's zoom it forward. Assuming it's just gonna swap back and forth throughout this first stint.
It's a race position gained for Mercedes.
The main thing is we want to stay out there in the clear air after the likes of Leclerc, Russell come into the pits. So the next medium tyre runner, Kevin Magnussen, Vettel and Ricciardo, Stroll and Mick Schumacher. Of course, Hulkenberg on the hard tyres as well. But yeah, absolutely massive so far. I imagine Alonso's not going to manage to stay in front of Russell here. Well, he does manage it. The frustrating thing is, I think we could push on and get clear of Russell, but don't think we want to do that at this stage. They are very much side by side here.
Position gained for Mercedes.
Well, Alonso with DRS does pull away slightly. The question will be, can Gasly get close enough to Russell? But Russell back through on Fernando this time. DRS pulls him closer. But you can see 4 seconds is the gap. Charles Leclerc leading this Grand Prix ahead of his teammate Carlos Sainz. Alonso's going to have Russell once again here. Absolutely brilliant. So let's zoom this forward a little bit. There's not going to be a great deal happening unless there's a safety car or the likes. It is just going to be these two swapping positions essentially. And it's very much a DRS train, which is a bit odd at a circuit like this, but we have just got a clump of similarly placed cars, and Perez very much holding up the guys behind. And anyway, here we go. Pit stops have started. Pit stops have started. So this is where the race becomes very much on now. So we've got Fernando Alonso in second and Pierre Gasly in third. So, very, very good so far from Fernando Alonso. Can Pierre Gasly get back past him? I'm not entirely sure he can. There's potential there, but now that we're starting to pull away from Ocon, this is our real chance to get a big gap, and a bit like last year, try and build that. We'll maybe give Gasly a couple of laps to pass and then maybe think about doing what we did in was it Great Britain, where we said don't fight. I think it was France actually. But here goes Bottas having a look past Ocon. And he's through once again. So Charles Leclerc leading the way. 8.7 seconds at the head of this Grand Prix. But look at Russell, where he is in the field. He is stuck behind Albon, Zhou, Stroll. Sainz is in a little bit of clear air, so he's going to be alright. Verstappen, he's going to come up to the back of Russell now. Verstappen wasn't really in this battle, but he's going to be brought into it. Russell's race is going to be completely ruined by the fact he's in this massive train of cars. And the good thing for us is that, well, at the very least, Lance Stroll is on medium tyres. Charles Leclerc is into the pit lane, the race leader. Very, very slow pit lane here, so we're going to see Fernando Alonso swing round, and he's now going to be into the lead of this Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso now leads. We've got Pierre Gasly in second, Leclerc in third, putting on the medium tyres. Kevin Magnussen coming around the final corner. He's going to come round and get into third place in this race. Sebastian Vettel coming round as well. He could be a big feature like he was last year. He's up to fourth now. He's just ahead of Charles Leclerc. That's massive. Leclerc comes out behind Ricciardo and Vettel. And he's gone for medium tyres. That's an interesting choice. Sainz on the hards. And Leclerc on the medium. Stroll is then behind them. Then Albon on softs as well. And Russell alongside him. He's going to really struggle, Russell, to get past these two. And that's really helping us out. Oh, there was was there a crash there? I feel like I've seen debris, but maybe not. Anyway, Gasly and Alonso still side by side. It's one of those, isn't it, where you don't really want to push them too hard and then risk not getting the result. But you don't want to stop them racing because they're still battling for the championship ultimately. But yeah, this is a very important part of the race. If we have a look at lap times, they're doing 42.6s, Russell only 43.8s. So, you know, they are the quickest guys out there at the moment. And that is going to massively help us in this race, because now Leclerc and Sainz, they're stuck behind Ricciardo and Vettel, who are going to be going long into this Grand Prix. Alonso and Gasly, meanwhile, battling for what is currently the lead of this Grand Prix. It's not really going to end up being that, you wouldn't have thought, but if we can keep pressing, keep pushing each other, that's only going to have a positive impact on the rest of this race. Fastest lap of the race so far for Pierre Gasly, a 1:42.0. And yeah, we are in a position where, similar to last year, because other drivers are stuck in traffic, we are starting to become contenders. And obviously there was a late safety car last year as well, which allowed us to put on the soft tyres. And and really ramp it up towards the end of the race. Oh, Carlos Sainz stuck behind Vettel, but finally through. Leclerc's past Ricciardo now. And I think we're going to see Leclerc start to close that gap massively. Surely this is going to be a fastest lap of the race. Here we go. Charles Leclerc comes up to the line, 42.8. Somebody's in the wall.
Yeah.
Somebody is in the wall, and we've got an overtake for the lead happening. It's Gasly. Somebody has spun as well. And I can't see where on track. It was Valtteri Bottas, apparently.
Now let's watch this.
And he's with his teammate Lance Stroll. Oh, yeah, that is a nasty one.
Terrible news for the team.
It's a little bit fortunate.
And that was a...
He's not completely busted the rear suspension there. Magnussen also had a spin. We've got Pierre Gasly leading the way right now. No safety car. That's the other thing that could be a variable in this race. We're still going to be going very, very long in this Grand Prix. We are not pitting for nearly another 20 laps. I think it was up 39 and 40, wasn't it? So quite a few laps until we come into the pits. Fastest lap of the race so far for Pierre Gasly. We are pulling away from Charles Leclerc. Let's have a little look at time. So we're 22 seconds ahead. If we were to pit currently, I think we'd come out just ahead of Max Verstappen. It's going to be about 25 seconds in the pit stop. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso has retaken the lead of this Grand Prix. So yeah, we're at an interesting point in this race, really. There's nothing really troubling us out front. We are well ahead of Sebastian Vettel in P6. And that's sort of, I think the best we're going to manage is probably third and fourth out of this. And that's exactly what I said to you. If Sainz wins this race, Alonso finishes third. It begins the little bit of worry that we have with Carlos Sainz managing to win the title, steal the title off Fernando Alonso. But what will be interesting is who is going to be the lead driver going into the pit window, because whoever that lead driver is will get the option to pit first, and obviously have that clear air for a lap to try and prove that they're going to be the ones to win this race, or at least out of the two drivers win this race. But yeah, Daniel Ricciardo on medium tyres. He's sort of in a similar position to what we were with Sebastian Vettel last year, of course, where he's following around Charles Leclerc, and he's going to massively improve his race position. So yeah, Alonso and Gasly still battling it out. Let's watch this battle for a lap or two. I'll have it on double speed, but Gasly certainly can't stay in front as long as Fernando seems to be able to. You can see his DRS just doesn't seem to be getting him close enough to pass Fernando Alonso. Does anybody else miss the Singapore sling round that corner? It's quite cool watching cars go through there. And of course, if they made a mistake, it was very risky. But there you go, Pierre Gasly now leads this Singapore Grand Prix. But Fernando Alonso still side by side with Gasly. But is Gasly going to be able to finish it off? I don't think he is, because Alonso's going to have DRS straight away here. But Gasly leads going into lap 31 of this race now. And Well, it's all going to be will Fernando Alonso make it back past his teammates here. He's got DRS, he's got the inside line, and he's still side by side, but doesn't make it through. And we are looking after the car massively here. We're holding back. We know we've got so much more pace to unleash in the second stint, where we're going to be attacking the tyres to the end of the race. Let's just have a little look at how much juice we'll have left in the tyres. I think maybe give it another 4 laps or so and then start attacking. Because we have got an opportunity here to perhaps come out ahead of Carlos Sainz. We only need to find a couple of seconds. And remember, he is absolutely stuck behind Daniel Ricciardo. He's having a little look here, and Sainz finally through on the Australian. Obviously, Ricciardo's going to have DRS again here. Perhaps he's going to make it back past. He is having a look, but no, Sainz is through now. So that is massive for this race, because that is almost guaranteed now a Ferrari 1-2. Now the question will be, can... Oh, they're side by side still. Alonso, oh, this is close. Let's drop it back down to 1 speed. Look at this. Alonso's back into the lead, but Gasly's side by side with him. Who's going to get the DRS? It looks like Gasly's going to get it. They fly around the final corner. Who is it? Nobody gets DRS, apparently. But it's Pierre Gasly that is leading the way in this race. Charles Leclerc is currently in P3. We've got yellow flags. We've got somebody that has locked up. Are they in the wall? Yep, somebody's in the wall. Is it Mick Schumacher? No, it's not. It's Sergio Perez. The Red Bull. What has happened here? He's locked up, obviously. Nearly went into the back of Norris, and ooh, that could have been horrible if we had 2 cars out there. They're still side by side. Now. Big question is going to be, where are we going to come back out? I think we're going to come back out ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who obviously hasn't been into the pits either. So George Russell essentially is the one we're looking at. But Russell's starting to pick up some pace. 34 seconds behind us. He's now put in the fastest lap of the race. That shows how much pace Russell had. But he's been stuck in traffic the whole time here. Perez all the way down in 18th place now. So, yeah, pit window is going to open up. So I think we're going to attack now with both drivers. Tell them to take all they can out of the tyres and see, can we now build a bit of a gap to Carlos Sainz? Look, we are building a massive gap all of a sudden to Charles Leclerc. Look how much quicker we're going as Pierre Gasly sets the fastest lap of the race. We are coming alive now. A 1 minute 40.6. And it's whoever gets to their optimal pit window ahead. Oh, Alonso's optimal pit window. That's who's going to come in first and get the benefit of that clear air on the fresh tyres. Now, in theory, we're going to be attacking for the rest of the Grand Prix now. So it's all going to be just pedal in the metal. Can we win this race? Because we're going to just have so much better tyres. We've got 3 laps to go, essentially, until the pit stop. Is Alonso going to get past Gasly? No. So he's going to get 2 more laps to do that. And Alonso back through. Believe it or not, we are catching Perez to retake the... or to lap him, sorry. So Alonso coming through now, optimal pit window. So Gasly's got essentially this first sector to stay close and to get back past him. Are we going to see Gasly have a go? He is going to have a go. Pierre Gasly into the lead of the Grand Prix. And Gasly now is going to be the one pitting. There is one more DRS zone, so we'll hold off. But Gasly all of a sudden takes the advantage.
Get the tyres down now.
We do have a little bit of percentage left in these tyres, but I think it's worth getting onto the softs. They're going to be better.
Copy.
They're of course going to be fresher. And yeah, they get through the middle sector. So Pierre Gasly is going to be coming in. 95%. Let's go for that one.
Box.
Fernando Alonso is going to do it the next lap. So Alonso's going to have a lap to attack in clear air too. Put on all the tyres. So here we go.
Yeah, in the box.
Pierre Gasly into the pit lane. Fernando Alonso now takes the lead of this Grand Prix. We'll see what he can do here.
Box. Okay, copy, box.
So where is Pierre Gasly going to come out here? He's going to file into the pit lane. We've got Carlos Sainz coming round, and Sainz has passed Leclerc for the lead. How has he managed that? He's on the hard tyres. Sainz goes into the net lead of this Grand Prix, well ahead of where Gasly's going to be on those soft tyres. But Gasly miles ahead of George Russell, who is just coming round the pit straight now. And that's quite unbelievable. So Pierre Gasly now, you can see, setting about trying to get caught up to those Ferraris. Fernando Alonso going round at the moment. He's actually gone green in the first sector. And remember, Fernando currently has the fastest lap. Comes through the middle sector. Yellow in the middle sector. Somehow Alonso managed to put a personal best without DRS in that first sector. That's insane. And here we go now. Just double checking those tyres. Yep, they will last to the end of the race. And Fernando Alonso is going to be coming in a lap later than we planned. We thought Alonso would be leading.
Okay, pit lane.
But Alonso
Copy.
was the second driver on track. So it's all going to be very interesting of who comes out in front. Fernando Alonso into the pits then. Of course, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, they're going to be coming round the final corner now as Pierre Gasly is catching up to them. So Alonso scrubbed red wall tyres onto the car. There goes Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. Ricciardo goes past as well, and there's Pierre Gasly, and you can see he has made a little bit of time on his teammate Fernando Alonso. We knew that would happen, but Fernando's going to have that slightly fresher rubber to try and attack his teammate with. So Pierre Gasly trying to get within a second of Daniel Ricciardo. as it stands. What we're looking at in terms of lap time, he put in a purple final sector, so we are the quickest cars out there. We've got the soft tyres, we've got fresher tyres than the cars not too far in front of us. Carlos Sainz, I think, has played a blinder in this race. We've got 20 laps to go. It's going to be a 4-car battle for the win.
Okay, copy.
Oh, Gasly closed right in on Ricciardo there. Ricciardo pulls to the outside. I think Gasly's going to fly straight past him. And he does go down the inside this time. And Gasly through up into second place. Alonso is going to have a go as well. Side by side. And Fernando Alonso is through. That is very interesting. So there you go. They are now very much chasing down the Ferraris. Ricciardo did not slow us down at all here. And Gasly to within 2 seconds of the Ferrari. Sainz does fastest lap. There goes Pierre Gasly with the fastest lap now. 1:39.9, so a tenth quicker than what we were managing on our absolute push laps before, and that was with spending half a lap behind Daniel Ricciardo. So Fernando Alonso, he's going to have DRS here. Is he going to be able to have a go at Pierre Gasly? This is very, very good attack and driving from both of our superstars. Gasly stays in front for now, 1.9 seconds behind the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz leading this race as it stands. And it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top in this race. Is it going to be us? Or is it going to be those Ferrari cars? Purple first sector for Fernando Alonso. What about the middle sector? He's going to have DRS again here. He might have another chance on Pierre Gasly. Pulls to the inside. He is going to have a little look, I think, Fernando Alonso. Ooh, it's very, very close.
Come on.
Now, what we do not want is an incident between these two. We've got a great chance of actually winning this race now. We're 1.2 seconds behind. We are closing in on the Ferraris. This is going to be huge, and there's going to be 18 laps to have a battle here. So, Pierre Gasly closing in. Is he going to have another fastest lap here? Ferrari's come through. Pierre Gasly. No, it's Fernando Alonso this time with the fastest lap. And so 1:39.7 this time. If you look at the last laps, wow, we have took almost a second out of the Ferraris there, but they are faster than anybody else. Remember, we are taking a risk by going attacking. One lock-up and it could all be over. So Carlos Sainz leads the Grand Prix, and now it is officially a four-way battle for the win here. Are we going to be able to easily make it past? I don't think so. The Ferraris are going to be very, very tough to pass. It's going to be traffic that comes into it. I think we've got Yuki Tsunoda coming up on track very, very shortly. And you can see the Ferraris pull straight over. There goes Gasly. Decent middle sector. And there's Tsunoda there. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. As it stands, Ricciardo's still out there pumping in the times, as is Vettel. I'll be really intrigued to know where Ricciardo comes out in all of this. Verstappen, by the way, incredibly slow. He's probably got a best position of 7th in this race, and that's very disappointing. Oh, yes, there you go. You see, Yuki Tsunoda. What on earth is happening? Gasly has lost so many positions there. That was ridiculous. And now Alonso is going to have Charles Leclerc because he's right behind. He's going to have DRS. Ricciardo's back into things as well.
Gain a position.
I mean, that was just absolutely ridiculous. If you look at this again, you've got Ricciardo coming round and Tsunoda just ground to a halt. And Gasly couldn't make it past. And now Gasly has to step on it again because Fernando Alonso, he's going to have a little look at Charles Leclerc. Doesn't manage it this time. But Carlos Sainz, meanwhile, he's running away at the front of this race. And I don't think he's going to be able to be stopped. But Tsunoda has completely ruined the four-way battle here. Can Gasly get back into it? That could be huge. An almost title deciding move that, because Alonso's now surely in a position where he can not only pass Leclerc but catch and pass Carlos Sainz as well. Now do Ferrari say to Leclerc, look, you're going to have to hold Fernando back at all costs, but he's not going to hold him back for much longer because Alonso is side by side. And going into the bridge section, Fernando Alonso still side by side. This is risky play from the championship leader, but wonderful racing from those two drivers there. And Charles Leclerc finally has to yield, but he will have DRS through the start-finish straight. And can he get back past? Because Fernando Alonso now up to second in this Grand Prix. Is Leclerc going to make it straight back past here? Ricciardo and Vettel in the pit lane now. So here we go. Pierre Gasly will be trying to catch this battle. 1.8 seconds behind. Charles Leclerc with DRS now going to have a little go, I think, at Fernando Alonso. Peels to the inside. Is he going to have a go? Yes, he is. But I think Alonso's going to be all right. And he is. Fernando Alonso's fine. Well, well, well. Carlos Sainz leads. Fernando Alonso in second now. Charles Leclerc in third. Pierre Gasly closing in fourth place. Gasly's quick in the clear air. It makes me think Alonso's going to be quick, but he's going to drag Leclerc along with him, because I bet you Leclerc can stay within a second. Use the DRS to close right back up, and then stay within a second until the next DRS zone. There's 3 around here, of course. And it's going to bring about, once again, that 4-way battle for the win. You would imagine Pierre Gasly's going to probably put in another fastest lap here. Completely in clear air. Pushing hard. Fernando Alonso comes round. Is that going to be another fastest lap for him? Well, it was purple lane. There you go. Pierre Gasly does go quickest. Not a surprise. 139.2 for Pierre Gasly. Now, Leclerc once again will have DRS here. Fernando Alonso struggling as it stands to really make a significant impact
Do what you can to keep
on
the tyres cool.
Carlos Sainz. They're flying through on lap 46 of this Grand Prix. Gasly 2 seconds behind this battle now. We're all very evenly paced. Maybe towards the end of the stint, when our tyres run out, that's where the biggest delta is going to come. Maybe Ferrari will hang on anyway. Now, Sainz leading the way. Alonso second, 1.6 behind. Leclerc third. And we've got Gasly P4. Gasly not making much of an impact either. But Alonso now all of a sudden a couple of tenths closer to Carlos. So here we go, 1.3, 1.2. Very soon it'll be DRS range. And ditto for Pierre Gasly. Yeah, Gasly within, Alonso within a second now of Carlos Sainz. Not quite within a second, close enough to the DRS zone to get that drag reduction system in place. It's still got Gasly in the background there. Within 2 seconds. In these sections, he is going to be in a great position. This is just going to be so intriguing. And really, if Fernando wants to win this race easily, he has to get past Carlos Sainz almost immediately and then push on. He cannot afford Gasly to get involved in this and make it a DRS train. That's what he cannot afford. So here we go, Fernando Alonso. We're going to see how aggressive he is and whether he's willing to risk everything. We've seen it already today. Fernando Alonso comes over the line. He's got DRS on the race leader, Carlos Sainz. Gasly 1.8 behind. We just have nothing to really attack with. I suppose we could deploy. Why don't we deploy with Gasly? Let's get him into this battle. It is going to suit us down to the ground to try and get both drivers in this battle. But Carlos Sainz defending valiantly. Look at the top three, separated by 0.2 of a second now. Gasly with his deployment should reach the back of this group very, very quickly. And that's exactly what he does. Gasly almost instantly within. Within a second, and there you go. No DRS for Gasly this time, and Fernando Alonso makes a move for the lead of this Singapore Grand Prix.
You're doing a good job.
Very, very good from Fernando. So Alonso leads, then Sainz, and then Leclerc, and now Pierre Gasly. Going to move him back to neutral now and try and look after the rest of this Grand Prix. Gasly's tyres a little bit worse than Alonso's, of course, because Gasly came in a lap earlier. Alonso leading the way. The big question will be, can Carlos Sainz get back past him? Meanwhile, Gasly, he was having a little look at Leclerc. And perhaps he is. Alonso going a little bit defensive. Oh, this is so close. This is going to be an amazing battle for the victory. With the Ferraris. This is pretty much all the pace that we've got. Okay, we could use deployment for a couple of laps. We could up the fuel for a lap or so, but we want to save that for the final couple of laps of the Grand Prix. It is now officially that four-way battle, and it's all going to be how long can Sainz stay in that 1 second window, because if he drops off that, he's going to be in massive trouble to Charles Leclerc behind. But all the while we are pulling away massively from George Russell in P5. Esteban Ocon is just behind him in P6. Verstappen a long way off the pace in P7. Hamilton in the top 10, but Fernando Alonso may well be a second ahead here. Sainz has DRS. Sainz does close in slightly here. It's this straight where can all change though. You feel like Alonso is going to get out of that 1 second window very soon. DRS enabled for the drivers behind. And you can see how much Carlos Sainz closes up, half a second there. So time to zoom it forward towards the last few laps of this race. I don't think much is going to change until we absolutely push it at the end of the race. Yeah. Let's have a look at tyres. Alonso's tyres are very soon going to get worse than Carlos Sainz's, which then I think switches the advantage back to Carlos. And of course there could be a very late safety car. There's always a possibility here in Singapore. It's happened every single year. But this year perhaps not. Tyres are overheating, but there's nothing we can do about that. Because as soon as we stop attacking, Ferrari are going to make the move. So Carlos Sainz can get within 3/10 of Alonso, but it's the rest of the lap where we are so much quicker as it stands. But then you look at the tyres, and particularly Gasly, you do worry a little bit. So gonna wait until the final 2 laps of this race. I feel like I should harvest with Gasly next lap. Try and get that energy back up. So there we go, Fernando Alonso. He's now, by the way, more than a second ahead. So we're going to deploy final 2 laps.
Copy.
Going to do the same with Pierre Gasly. The traffic really helped us there.
Use energy.
Okay.
And we lap Sergio Perez now. Leclerc
2 laps to go.
is more than a second behind Carlos Sainz, which means now Pierre Gasly's going to have a chance on him. Doesn't quite manage it. Fernando Alonso, meanwhile, is pushing very, very hard. But as we know, traffic can cause a massive problem. It did for Pierre Gasly. That's why he's a little bit out of the race, and you can see Alonso had to slow right down there. Alonso coming through. Did have DRS, safely passed Mick Schumacher now. Can Pierre Gasly get past? Oh, he has done. Gasly's got past Leclerc. And now he's going to push on and try and get past Carlos Sainz. Let's have a look at that on the replay.
Let's take a look at the replay.
There you go, just got a better exit, had the DRS, had the inside line, and easily got through. So can Gasly make this a 1-2?
We have low battery.
Copy.
Fernando Alonso starts his final lap.
Should be the last lap.
So Gasly, can he get past Carlos Sainz here?
So use energy if you need it.
It's going to be huge if he can. Here we go. DRS enabled. ERS on deploy. And look at this, there's so much traffic there. That could be a huge incident here. No luck. And now Gasly held up by Mick Schumacher. Hulkenberg's there as well. Now can Gasly get past? Oh, he just about gets past Stroll. And he may well have one more chance on Carlos Sainz. DRS enabled, but I don't think he's going to be able to get past. So Carlos Sainz is going to finish second. Fernando Alonso, by the way, massively deserves this victory. He has done very well, just like he did in Italy. He has took the chance that was there for him. He's absolutely smashed it today. Fernando Alonso is going to come round the final corner and he's going to win in Singapore once again in his career.
Let's check a flag.
And he should be incredibly proud. Carlos Sainz finishes second, just ahead of Pierre Gasly in third. A double podium once again. But Fernando Alonso is an absolute legend.
Comes home first.
Well, it was never certain, but if anything, that must make the victory taste even sweeter.
Let's check a flag.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Take all the pickup on the way in.
And this is the thing, Pierre Gasly was the one leading this race. He was really screwed over by the traffic in this Grand Prix, and that is a huge shame in itself, because this was a real opportunity for Gasly to be the one gaining those 10 points. And Alonso now 35 points ahead in the championship. And Carlos Sainz essentially looking over his shoulder to Carlos Sainz, because Ferrari have shown they are the quickest team now, and they are going to be absolutely going for it in these final few races. Now, Alonso's come out on top because he managed to pick the gaps today. He managed to stay with George Russell in that first stint, and he stayed ahead of Gasly most of the time. So Alonso had more pace, but Pierre Gasly came out of the pit stops, a second and a half ahead of Fernando. He managed to get into the lead of the Grand Prix, and then it was all to do with traffic.
What a flawless weekend here from Fernando Alonso. His team must be proud. A truly well-earned podium here, and a dream come true for everyone involved.
Absolutely brilliant from the two-time world champion. It's perhaps only a matter of time before that 2 turns into a 3. Pierre Gasly, he will not be happy today.
The veteran rounds off another great drive, adding to his impressive F1 podium tally. You've got to say it was a solid drive from all 3 of them up there. A fantastic showcase for Formula One. Aston Martin having an extremely good day at the track.
You're completely right, and what a day for all the fans of the team as well.
After an intense weekend, the team ends in first place in the constructor standings.
Next round will see us head east as F1 prepares for the Japanese Grand Prix. We'll see you at Suzuka, a firm favourite for the drivers.
So there you have it then. Fernando Alonso wins the Singapore Grand Prix ahead of Carlos Sainz in second. It's Pierre Gasly finishing in P3. Then Charles Leclerc in fourth with Russell in fifth. Ocon finishes an excellent sixth for Alpine. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen ends another disappointing weekend for Red Bull, down in seventh. Daniel Ricciardo finishes 8th after a very good first stint. Lewis Hamilton 9th and Sebastian Vettel in 10th. In the drivers' standings, as I said, Fernando Alonso now 35 points ahead of Pierre Gasly in second place. Gasly himself now 29 points ahead of Carlos Sainz. So he's closer to Sainz than Fernando Alonso, which, yeah, shouldn't be a thing, really. We are now, well ahead in the constructors' standings. I don't see how we lose it from here. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't see how we lose the constructors from this point. I don't really know how Red Bull are so high. You know, obviously their early season form was very, very good, but of late it's been poor. Pierre Gasly will, of course, get another development point. What about Fernando Alonso? Does he manage? No, not this weekend. Not for Piastri either. We get 4.9 million profit in the bank. That is what we are talking about, which is fantastic. So that is a return to form. It is fair to say that was a very, very good Grand Prix. Really enjoyed it. We got Suzuka next in Japan. And then, of course, we have got the USA and Mexico before Sao Paulo and Abu Dhabi. And it's looking less and less likely, if we're honest, that there's going to be a championship decider. But we'll see next time out. So if you have enjoyed that, give it a big thumbs up down below. Subscribe for plenty more F1 Manager content. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.